If your squat feels weak, awkward, or even painful, it's probably your form holding you back. So we're gonna break the squat into a simple checklist that's gonna get you squatting safer and build maximum strength. First is the bar placement on your traps. I see way too many people putting the bar on their necks, which is just gonna cause unnecessary pain and potential damage on the vertebrae up there. You want to put it on your traps. You are essentially creating a shelf with the trap muscles back here for the bar to sit on. And please stop using the bar pads when you're doing squats. Not only are these known as the pussy pads in the gym industry, but this is actually making the squat harder than it needs to be. When you put this on the bar and then put this on your traps, you're making the bar be just a couple inches further than what it would just be sitting on your traps. And it makes the movement much harder than it needs to be. Now, yes, I understand the bar is uncomfortable when it sits on your traps, but over time you will build that pain tolerance and you will build some bigger traps so it won't necessarily hurt as bad. Next is that you need to focus on proper bracing. A really great cue is that we want to keep the ribs down. A lot of people get the wrong idea thinking that we need to keep a tall chest, and they really hyperextend the lower back, which is just putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on that lower back and truthfully making you weaker on the squat. So when you are bracing, even before you pick the bar off the rack, what I want you to do is take a deep belly breath and brace as if somebody was going to punch you in the stomach. Oh my God, bro. You can go harder than that. Ready, go. Okay. Dude, you're such a fucking pussy. This will create intra-abdominal pressure, keeping your spine in a safer position and also keeping you stronger. Next is your head position. What I want you to think about is looking off into the horizon. I know that it feels safer to look down at your feet because you can see what's going on, but this is going to cause your chest to collapse and your back to round, which is inherently going to make the movement harder and put you at risk for injury. I also do not want you looking up at the stars because we're putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on that neck again. So just look off into the distance, into the horizon, pick a spot, maybe where the wall meets the floor, and I want you to keep locked into that position throughout the whole squat. Next is going to be creating a strong foundation with the floor beneath your feet. What I want you to do is think about grabbing the ground with your toes and corkscrewing them outwards. A really great mental image to create is as if you're standing on a large piece of paper and you're trying to rip that paper in half. This is going to create amazing tension throughout that lower body and just create that rock solid foundation to allow you to squat a little bit stronger. The next thing is creating strong back tension to allow your full body to be able to support throughout the squat. Some cues that I hear in the past is bending the bar over your back, but what I have found is that a lot of clients and people just start caving that chest and tipping forward again because we're thinking of bending the bar this way. A better cue that I have found that works great for most people, think about getting your elbows into your back pockets. So what is that's going to mimic is once that bar is on your back, you're essentially mimicking a lat pull down, trying to get your elbows into those back pockets, which is gonna really fire those lats and create a much stronger base for that bar to sit on your traps. So we've essentially set you up with what to do before you even start descending on the squat. But how do we descend properly? There is a cue known as pushing your hips back. This is going to set you up with a really strong hinge, but the issue is that this doesn't take into consideration everybody's anatomical differences. Some people have longer femurs, some people have shorter femur. Depending on the person, if we think about just shooting our hips back, it may actually throw you off balance. So instead, what I want you to think about is either real or imaginary, wearing a weightlifting belt, is getting the buckle of that belt to your heels. This will put you in a much safer position and you will just feel the difference in terms of balance and you'll feel those glutes and hamstrings really engage as well. Now, the last tip I'm gonna give you is that you need to be explosive out of the bottom of the squat. We should really be controlling the descent, but when we are coming out of the bottom, that is by far the hardest position of the squat. And what you will find is that most people hit a sticking point as soon as they start to break parallel where the bar really just doesn't want to move. And the best way to get past this is to create enough momentum coming out of the bottom because you are pushing so explosively that that momentum carries you over and through that sticking point and you'll just be putting up more weight. When you are coming out of this bottom of the squat, we do not want our knees to cave in like this. This is already mad uncomfortable for me to just do for the video. We want to focus on keeping the feet engaged, spreading the floor, and driving those knees out throughout the whole movement. And it's gonna feel much better, much safer, and much stronger. Now, you may be thinking that the squat is a lot more technical than you even realize because this checklist is fairly long. So what is the best way that you can utilize all the information that you just learned? My recommendation is to master one thing at a time. If you try focusing on everything we just learned all at once, you're gonna get overwhelmed and you won't even be able to master one of them. I would start from top to bottom and really just ingrain these things into your subconscious. Over time of consistently doing them and mastering each individual step, you will no longer have to think about it so much and put so much brain power into it, and it will become natural. Some of the best squatters in the world, it's almost like a ritual. You just get under the bar, check off this checklist without even having to think about it. Make sure to go through this checklist on your next squat day, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more helpful videos.